much for coming to our SOL preview testing. And a lot of people are wondering, what is preview testing? Am I taking an SOL today? And the answer is no, unless you are in 8th and 11th grade and you're staying for the writing test. But preview testing, the whole goal of today is just to get you comfortable with the testing location so that when May rolls around, you don't have to think through parking or paperwork or where do I go or which teachers am I looking out for. So I'm Mrs. Parkhurst and Miss Murphy. We are going to be the VAVA staff in May when you are here for your May SOLs. So we are meeting at 700 East Jackson Street. For those of you, hopefully everyone found the parking deck, no problem. Right next door on 8th Street, we will have parking validation stamps for you guys. So keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about paying for parking in May. So the whole goal of today, like I said, we don't want you to have to think through any of the other stuff in May. We just want you to be able to come in and focus on your test. So what tests am I going to be taking in May? Well, that depends on what grade you're in, okay? So for example, in 3rd, you might have reading and math. In 4th grade, reading, math, Virginia Studies. 5th, reading, math, science. 6th, reading, math. 7th, reading, math, civics. 8th, reading, math, science. And then with high school, you'll just check with your high school teachers, right? Because it varies based on the grade level and what subjects you're taking. Now, one question people often have, especially if you're new to VAVA testing, in brick and mortar, you might have experienced like 1 week and you're getting all of your tests done. In VAVA, we take a more slow and steady approach. So be on the lookout for that schedule that's gonna come out in, say, mid-April with your specific tests. But what you can anticipate is rather than doing all 2 or 3 tests in 1 week, you're looking at a test or 2 per week. So you want to block off that month of May in your head, knowing either you'll have like a Tuesday, Wednesday schedule or a Thursday, Friday schedule, and you'll get those tests done slow and steady by coming to this testing location a couple of times, okay? For learning coaches, we really recommend, if you can, stay on site, because most of the tests aren't going to take as long as we block off time for. So similar to today, we blocked off a full hour, but this is really only taking 20 minutes, okay? So in May, you might see a 3-hour chunk on your student's schedule, but just know that the SOL probably isn't gonna take that long. And the great thing about VAVA testing is once your student is done, they can leave if you're here to take them, okay? So that could be a real perk, that they don't have to sit in this room for hours and hours and wait for the whole group to finish. A VAVA staff member can take them down to you at the meeting location, and then they are free to go. Just a couple of reminders. Leave extra time to get to our location, especially since we're in downtown Richmond, so it can be a little bit more congested just depending on the day, you never know. Remember to eat a really healthy breakfast the morning of testing. When testing begins, just take your time. The SOL tests are unlimited, so you can take as long as you want. There's no rush. Remember to read all directions, questions, and answer choices carefully. We will always have all the supplies you need, blank paper, pencils, tissues. If you want to bring a water bottle, you're welcome to. You can bring cell phones, but just remember, you're gonna have to leave it up here at the front with us completely turned off. So we actually would love it if you just kept the cell phone with the learning coach, but if it works better for your family, for your student to have a cell phone, just know it has to be completely powered off up here with us for the duration of the test. And then when they're released outside, they can get their cell phone back. It's really important that all learning coaches, one of the things we wanted you to fill out today was the student release testing form. For those LCs who were not able to make it today, you can log into Testing Nirvana and get that form and print that out and go ahead and fill it out and have that ready to go for May testing. We have to have that form because that's the release. We see who is going to pick up the student on that release form. We're going to check your photo ID when you come to pick up your student. We're going to make sure your name matches the name on that student release form, and then release your student back to you. So it's really important that we have that form filled out by all learning coaches, okay? So are there any questions that we have today? Okay, if not, then we're gonna go ahead and go down to the second floor and see the meeting spot where that'll be our designated location where you can hang out until your student is done with their test, and that's the location that we're gonna bring them to you. So we can go ahead and head down there and check it out now.